Assalamu alaikum. Welcome in today's class. Our lesson today is the peacemaking after the World War One. This is your chapter number 14, section 4, and you can find it on page number 72. Lesson objective is that at the end of the lesson you must be able to analyze that what was the cost of the World War One. The cost included the human and the capital cost. Describe the issues that were faced by the delegates representatives to the Paris Peace Conference and explain why many people they were not satisfied with the Treaty of Versailles and the other peace settlements that were made at the end of the war. Some of the terms mentioned in the lesson, they are pandemic. It's a disease that spreads all over the world, or you can say a large scale disease that spread from one place to another, like COVID-19 nowadays. Reparation, it's money or it's a compensation paid by a loser usually, are paid by a country that initiates an unjustified attack or unjustified war. Radicals are the people who try to bring or who try to implement abrupt changes or extreme changes. Collective security, it's a system that was initiated after the World War One in which a group of nations acted together in order to maintain the peace for everyone. So they did not allow any country to start a war. They did not allow any country to make secret treaties. So by this way, they try to preserve the peace. Mandate is a territory which is administered by another power. Usually, in theory, it says that the mandate is an autonomous country or autonomous state, but it has to be held by another power until it is not able to stand by its own. So it's a type of a country which economically, politically is destabilized or is not capable of doing all the things by its own. So it needs the help of a bigger power. That is in theory, but in practice, the mandates were treated by the European powers as their colonies. So here is our first question, that what factors influenced the peace treaties that ended the World War One, and how did people react to these treaties? Basically, the World War One brought too many economic and political problems where the victors actually had their own interests. They wanted to punish the losers, particularly Germany, because both Britain and France, they believe that Germany is going to be a rival power in the near future. So it is the only possibility is that Germany should be kept weak in order to avoid another future confrontation. So in these circumstances, US played the role of a mediator in order to settle the peace or to bring the lasting peace. So Eastern Europe was given the opportunity of self-determination or deciding about themselves what they want to do. Germans, on the other side, they were completely shocked when they were called to sign the Treaty of Versailles. When they saw the terms, they were completely shocked that what they are going to sign, which is on that time was looking completely impossible. But because they were losers, they had no choice but to sign and accept. Nations fighting the World War One, they had to pay a huge cost in terms of human capital. Basically, the war was a devastation for all the nations that were fighting. Around 8.5 million soldiers they died, and around 16 million were wounded. Many of them were disabled for all of the remaining life. So the disabled soldiers were actually a huge burden on the national economy because they were unable to be employed in the jobs. So after the war, they had to be fed, they had to be managed by the governments. Not only this, but around 13 million civilians also died in the war, and many more, those who survived from the death, they became refugees because their houses, they were destroyed, the cities were completely shattered. So because of this human toll, the governments that were involved in the war effort, they were now facing another challenge after the war, that how to recover from the destruction, how to rehabilitate the people, and how to reconstruct. So this was the loss that has already gone in the past. It was the matter of past, but now they were facing with a bigger challenge of reconstruction and recovery. Um, Cities all over the Europe, they were bombed. Buildings, they were completely destroyed. They were in a kind of rubbles. So to reconstruct, to rebuild countries, those who were already in the war debt, they borrowed the money to fight the war. Now they had to once again borrow the money in order to rebuild and reconstruct. So they were under a huge economic pressure. At the same time, refugees, they had no jobs. They had to start their lives from the zero again. So this was a challenge on all sides, not only on the government level but also on the individual level. And the worst on that happened that a pandemic spread out in the form of influenza, just like I just discussed. COVID-19 is a pandemic nowadays. It has spread all over the world. So immediately after the war, Europe was facing a pandemic in the form of influenza, which killed almost 20 million worldwide. It was a blow after blow, you can say a kind of pressure to the economies of the countries. Those who were in the recovery stage, they were stuck with another blow in the form of the deadly disease. So the governments in Russia, Germany, Austria-Hungary, and the Ottoman Empire, they collapsed just because of the war pressure. The public in those countries, they were demanding changes. They believed that the governments, they are responsible for poor decisions, and the war that has brought havoc or destruction to these societies. It is just because of the few people at the elite level. So, for example, in Russia, there was a revolution. They removed the monarchy. Bolsheviks took over the power, and communism established itself into the Russian society. So, the Tsar was executed. It was a completely new system that was introduced in Russia. Austria and Hungary collapsed. They became two separate nations. Germany was also ripped off its colonial empire that it had built in Africa. So all the colonies that were the German colonies, they were taken over by the victorious European powers. So this was, and in the case of Ottoman Empire, its territories were taken over by Britain and France, particularly in the Middle East, and the Ottoman Empire came to its virtual collapse in 1924. You will see that Turkey declared the end of the caliphate and became a republic. So all the territories that were part of the Ottoman Empire, either they got independence or either they became mandates or protectorates of the British or the France, particularly in the Middle East. So at the end of the war, three nations were more dominant, or you can say they became more influential than the others. They were Britain, France, and America. These three nations, they were known as the Big Three. They you can say conducted the Paris Peace Conference, where the victorious nations were called to come and sit down to discuss how to settle the peace and how to recover from the war destruction. These three nations, those who dominated, they were the leaders of these three. They were the David Lloyd from Britain. He was the prime minister. George Clemenceau was the French prime minister, and Woodrow Wilson was the American president. So basically, these three leaders, they had conflicting interest. For example, America wanted to establish peace. France wanted to weaken the Germany, and Britain wanted the recovery of money from the Germany in order to rebuild its own economy. So they had their own conflicting views that you are going to discuss in the next slides. So the Paris Peace Conference started. The big three leaders France, Britain, and America, they sit together. They called their own allies except Russia, because Russia made an early exit from the war. So at the end of the war, Russia was not welcomed, or you can say not called to sit down in the Paris Peace Conference and put down their own demands. So they believe, the leaders in the Paris Peace Conference believed that if Russia made an early peace deal with Germany, so they have the right to negotiate their own settlements directly with Germany instead at the Paris Peace Conference. So Russia and Central Powers because they were losers, so they were not called in the Paris Peace Conference. At the end of the war, um, Germany was given all the blame for starting the war. So German delegates were called in order to sign the Treaty of Versailles, not the Central Powers like Austria-Hungary or Ottoman Empire. So the delegates only from Germany signed the Treaty of Versailles from the other side. At the peace conference, as I just discussed, that allies, they had their own conflicting interests. Woodrow Wilson wanted, American president wanted to bring peace in order to get the peace or to avoid a future war, so that no country should be badly treated. There should be no winner and no loser in the war, because his basic theme was to bring peace. British Prime Minister wanted to recover money as much possible from from Germany in order to rebuild the British economy that was devastated by the war. And France wanted a weak Germany in its neighborhood, just in order to avoid another invasion like the Schlieffen Plan in any more time in the future. So France wanted a weak Germany. Italian Prime Minister, he wanted the promised lands that Italy was promised for the sake of joining the war. But to their surprise, they did not get as much they expected, because many of the territories they wanted, they were given autonomy. Just here, as you can see, that people of the Eastern European countries, they were given the choice of their own. The idea of self-determination was implemented in their areas. People decided what they want to do. So as a result, newly created nations emerged on the map of the earth. In June 1919, so the German delegates were called to sign the treaty. When German delegates they saw the terms, they were completely shocked, because Germany was given full responsibility of the war, initiating an unjustified war. And so the reparation was imposed on Germany, which was at that time $30 billion. If you recalculate in current times, it is almost $30 trillion. This much huge money, the German delegations, they were forced to accept as a war payment or reparation. Similarly, Germany was forced to cut down its military size in order to keep the possibility of another invasion into neighboring France beyond any more possibility. And also its overseas territories, the colonies, they were given into the control of Britain and France. As we just discussed, that allies, the winning nations, the victorious nations, they redrew the map of the Europe. They also signed their individual treaties with the Central Powers like Austria-Hungary and Ottoman Empire. They applied the idea of self-determination in Eastern Europe. The German territories, that they were given autonomy at the end of the war. Russian territories, for example, Latvia, Lithuania, and Estonia were given independence. Similarly, Poland was created out of the German territories. Yugoslavia was created in Balkan, a new Slavic state. Czechoslovakia was created out of the Austrian and Hungarian territories. So this is how the victorious nation, they dealt with the other two major powers of the war participating nations from the Central Powers group. Unfortunately, many of the Wilson's ideas in his 14 points peace formula were not implemented. For example, Germany, the other Central Powers, and the other countries and colonies were angered by the treatment, by the war reparation money that they were forced to pay, and other terms, particularly scaling down of the German military. And the German public was not happy with the agreement that German delegates were forced to sign. So eventually, this frustration of the German public and the leadership uh, very early in the near future caused World War II. This was the reason because the treatment that was given to Germany was actually destabilizing its economy. It did not give the opportunity for Germans to recover economically, to stabilize, and to move towards, you can say, prosperity. Economic prosperity was not achieved. The Germans' economic conditions became worse and worse every passing years as long as they were paying the reparation money. So, following in these circumstances, Hitler emerged as a dominant leader, which actually resulted that Germany refused to pay the reparation money in order to improve their own economic position or the economic condition of their people, and ultimately they avoided or they refused to follow the terms they agreed in the Treaty of Versailles. They once again build up the military forces beyond the agreed level, which ultimately you will see that was one of the major cause that Germany started to build its empire and started to invade into other areas in the Eastern Europe before the start of the World War II. So once Germany became a dominant country by refusing or you can say by stopping to pay the war reparation money, they started to develop weapons which were more deadly as compared to the World War One. So this was the outcome of the failure of implementing the 14-point peace formula that actually Woodrow Wilson extended. This is the map. You can see that the map before the war appears quite different. Germans, they had a huge territory. Austria-Hungary was a big empire. Ottoman, they had their own presence. But after the war, you can see that the size of the Germany reduced. Poland was created in the neighborhood of Russia. The three small countries were created: Estonia, Latvia, and Lithuania. Then in Southeastern Europe, Yugoslavia was created as a combination of Serbia, Montenegro, territories from Austria-Hungary. These areas became part of the Slavic state of Yugoslavia. Similarly, Romania, because it participated from the sides of the Central Power, so it lost its territory as a result of the new idea implemented in the south east of Europe, the idea of self-determination. So many of the, and you can see that Austria-Hungary actually shrink to a very small scale, the two nations that are separated, Austria and Hungary. This is how the war actually resulted in these nations, the outcome of the war on terms of geography. The idea of self-determination was not implemented in the European colonial empire outside Europe. For example, the German territories in Africa and Asia and Ottoman territories, they became mandates administered by the Britain and France. Basically, mandate, as I just explained before, mandate is technically an autonomous country, but it is helped by another power because they believe that the country cannot survive at its own. So they were given the status of mandates, particularly in Middle East, for example, Syria, Palestine, Iraq, they became mandates. But Woodrow Wilson actually got some success at a small scale. For example, he managed to help, or you can say sponsor, the creation of the League of Nations. It was an institution that was created with the purpose of solving disputes on the table instead of war, and to avoid a future possible war. But the failure actually came because League of Nations had no powers, no coercion authority, which actually could use in order to force a country from initiating a war. That's why we can see that just like for example, today United Nations organization can enforce its resolutions with the help of military means, but League of Nations had no such authority, no such ability. So ultimately, League of Nations was a complete failure. There were invasions. For example, Italy invaded Ethiopia in 1936, and League of Nations couldn't do anything. Japan invaded Manchuria, and League of Nations couldn't do anything. So it failed. Another reason of its failure was that America, the one that sponsored the creation of League of Nations, never joined the league. So it had no validity, it had no moral stand to enforce itself. Ultimately, it failed. So, although the idea of collective security was the main, you can say, focus of the League of Nations, but actually it could not be achieved because League of Nations could not prevent Italy from invading a weak country, and League of Nations could not force Japan to withdraw from the areas that it invaded in Manchuria. So basically, peace was achieved at a very small, you can say, small scale, or small, or a very lower level. So, which ultimately within 20 years you will see that war on a bigger scale than the World War One broke out in Europe, and it was more deadly and more devastating. I hope you will understand everything, and still, if you believe that you are unable to comprehend the thing, you can come back with your questions during the Zoom class. See you until that time. Thank you.